Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Perino, along with Jedediah Bila, Geraldo Rivera, Tucker Carlson, and the brother I never wanted, Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. So she said it over and over again. Listen.
I'm certainly well aware of the classification requirements and did not send classified material. I never sent classified material on my email, and I never received any that was marked classified. I did not send classified material, and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified.
But despite her repeated denials, we now know classified material was sent and received on Hillary Clinton's, private server. Reuters is reporting at least 30 email threads were considered classified from the start. They contained information about foreign governments, and Clinton allegedly sent at least 17 of them herself. A small IT company has found itself thrust into the firestorm this week. Platte River Networks was hired by the Clintons to handle the server in 2013. It did not have security clearances to handle classified information. Its newly hired crisis management spokesman appeared on the record last night.
We took over 5 months after she left office. Our job was to upgrade, manage, and secure that email server, which we did. The server was never located in Denver. This was an East Coast client, and we moved the server to a dedicated, secure data center. Did that in June of 2013. Tuesday of last week, the 11th, the Federal Bureau of Investigation asked us to turn over the email server that was located in the data center. On Wednesday morning, we did.
Where was it picked up?
In New Jersey at the data center.
Is Platte River being looked at in any capacity by the FBI?
Not that I'm aware of.
So when this first all happened, Greg, and I heard Hillary Clinton talking in absolute, saying, I never sent any, I didn't have any, I would never, I had never, I thought, oh, that is not a good thing to say because she might not know what's on there.
That's exactly what her husband did with Monica Lewinsky. The server is the intern. The email is the dress. Look, her campaign, her campaign reminds me of an English poet from the 1700s. Done. She's like a TV show. She's like a TV show about a missing airplane. She's lost. She's like a sandwich on Michael Moore's plate. Finished. She's like Megan Fox and Brian Austin Green. Over.
I could have guessed that one.
Wow.
Very good.
It's done. No, it's done. It's just a matter of when she leaves.
Two ends, by the way.
Yes. I'm done.
Save me to last because I'm going to be the party pooper. Okay. I really can't believe how much hyperbole is being expended over a big nothing. What is the crime that we're talking about here? I want to know.
I will save you to the end.
Save me to the end.
Yeah, okay.
Well, she wasn't supposed to be doing all of this on her own email, for starters. She was supposed to be doing this through an official government email. That's A.
Tisk.
B, why
Not a crime. Not a crime.
Why didn't she know the rules, though? I mean, they're saying that some of this information is born classified, which means that it's automatically classified because of the nature of the documents. It's from foreign diplomats. It seems like this woman had a job as Secretary of State for a long time and didn't bother to read the rule book. The reason it's a big issue, Geraldo, is because you have to follow the rules. She works for us, not the other way around. And if she's not going to follow the rules, then what are we supposed to make of anything in government?
I really think you should save me till last.
See, but
You can't help yourself, Geraldo.
I can't.
Republicans, unfortunately,
because this is the biggest noise about nothing that I ever heard.
Is that
ever,
true? Wow.
Ever. Tucker, what's the crime? You're going to arrest her for breaking the rules?
What's the crime? This is the problem with the Republican response to this. They are buying into this lowest common denominator way of looking at it. Was it a crime? Who cares? It is evidence of terrible judgment. And that is the problem right there. Whether it's criminal, hold on, we will wait to find out. She allowed...
You just made a statement, terrible judgment.
And I'll tell you
what is the terror
You were going to wait until you were last.
I will tell you exactly. Wait your turn, man. I will tell you precisely why.
Your flowing rhetoric just got me whipped up.
She was the Secretary of State. There is literally no question, I bet my house, that much classified material moved through her email. The U.S. government has classified memos from the First World War 101 years ago. Everything is classified in Washington.
I agree.
That information...
So easy to stamp it.
And I'll tell you, that is illegal, but that information was subject to hackers. We know a Romanian hacker already broke into her email, got her emails to Sidney Blumenthal, released them to the press. How much of this information, which, by the way, does bear on national security questions, was available to the Chinese? That's the problem right there.
That is absolutely not the allegation being made here.
Well, exactly, but that's the core
Here you have Edward Snowden who has
True.
the National Security Agency, and he vomits every secret we ever had, and the Republican response is muted at best. Well,
no,
am I a
no, no.
libertarian?
Oh,
Am I a
that's not
libertarian?
true. That's
am
not
I a
true. I would
have him
libertarian?
back
Do I
here
want
and
these
try
people
him.
snooping? Am I Rand Paul? Am I Mitch McConnell?
Edward
I'm not so
Snowden?
sure
No,
how I'm
that's-
supposed to
well,
respond.
Geraldo, that's not
In this
fair.
case, she's giving information or talking with her staffers who have the same clearance she does. It's not like David Petraeus. I've often heard
here's
that
a simple question.
comparison.
Why do you think
There
she
is
did-
no crime
Well,
here.
but why do you-
are we so
Why do you
upset
think she did
about
this
it?
in the first place? Because it's more
Because she didn't want
convenient? You
people
don't-
like
no.
you snooping on her
Because
stuff.
she's trying to avoid the disclosure laws to which every federal official is subject.
Okay, I'll
And
give
in
you
fact,
that.
not only that,
I'll give you that.
But
Okay. Is that a crime?
Geraldo, you
Well,
answered
actually,
your
it is a
question.
crime.
Is that a crime?
She
Now
put
you're
her
talking
own
about Watergate.
personal.
I heard Bob
She put her
Woodward
own
comparing it to
personal
Watergate, for
privacy,
God's sake.
Geraldo. She put her own personal privacy before national
It wasn't
security.
that naughty. Isn't that
It is.
awful?
It is.
Yeah,
Especially.
And how
Geraldo.
disadvantages the United States as a result of
When
that?
you have someone who
Isn't
treats,
that the issue?
No, the issue is when you have somebody who treats intel so casually, they should not be in charge of national security. It would be like hiring a kleptomaniac to move your furniture. You don't do it. It's stupid.
Why don't you care about the fact that she screwed up the Middle East along with President
I
No, no,
didn't
no,
know.
you know what?
Rather than this
Geraldo,
meeting
let us stay on this topic just for once before
that
we
is
get
a good
back
question,
to that.
by the way.
But why would
Thank
her
you.
husband, Jedediah, Bill Clinton, as president, had to actually pardon John Deutsch from the CIA? Why? Because he had classified information on his home server.
exactly
Why do you
right.
pardon somebody? You don't pardon them for burping at the table. You pardon them because they were going to be convicted of a crime.
Right, and this Edward Snowden was not the Secretary of State. I mean, if we have a Secretary of State in there, she or he is supposed to be prioritizing our national security above all else. I don't care about her emails about yoga or to her friends or to
I
her
do.
family. The bottom line is, if she cared so much about her privacy, then she should have kept her private emails separate from what she was doing as Secretary of State.
Which is what she
didn't
said
do
she
that.
did for convenience, Greg. But this is the thing I don't understand. This is a woman who actually the most convenient thing would not have to do email at all. But you have people, you have your staff. They can come and bring things to you. You don't actually have to get yourself in this kind of trouble.
And if it really didn't matter, why did she scrub it and dump the weapon? It's a cover-up now. I mean, if it was no big deal. And by the way, who dumps personal emails? Those are the things you save. I mean, do you have emails about weddings
I
and
can
births? You
just
keep
see
those.
you seizing a Hillary Clinton email about wearing Lululemons when she's working out.
I wear
You know
Lululemon.
that she wore Lululemons
I
when she
wear
worked out.
Lululemon. I don't care.
see your
They're
ass in
quite
Lululemon.
tight.
That's,
But isn't this, I mean, you worked in government. In a normal office, you would have people around the principal saying, you know what, I think this might be a bad call.
No, yeah,
But she doesn't because she has the same group of people around her who've been there for 20 years.
That's a different
It's
issue.
small, it's airless, it's paranoid, it's weird.
You're absolutely right.
It's not an environment where good decisions are made.
Can you do a thought experiment with me that I've
Yes.
tried to do here before, and I think it's accurate? Because you covered the Bush administration. Imagine if it was Dick Cheney who was being accused of what Hillary Clinton is being accused of doing, and I guarantee you that the media would be in full bore calling for him to resign, not run, pull out of
Well,
the
he'd be a
race,
traitor.
etc.
On his
Wouldn't
way to The Hague to
Condoleezza
be
Rice be a
tried.
better comparison, though,
No.
rather than the Vice President of the United States? I mean, you're not saying that Joe Biden did
Sure.
this. You're
Are you
Secretary
saying
of
that
State
Condi
did.
Rice had a home
I'm
server that she
saying
cooked
that
up?
if Condi, is it not
No.
a fact, as Secretary Clinton purports, that other secretaries, including Secretary Rice, but I don't know specifically, I'm assuming, other secretaries, every other secretary has used private emails at some time.
Incorrect.
She's the only one who has used it
no.
exclusively.
She's the only one who's used it exclusively. That's correct.
And what about Jason Pressler, the Marine reservist who?
Yeah, let's talk about him for a second.
who's getting punished, discharged for sending an email on his private account to warn of an attack in which 3 Marines died. He's getting punished.
Yeah, and he's going to possibly lose his job, lose his career, and have a difficulty for the rest of his life for making one decision like that when she was actually in charge of everything.
And he tried to save lives.
No, but that's Washington. People who don't live there may not know how unbelievably uptight everybody is about this exact question. My college roommate worked in the Bush administration. I couldn't email him except on his official account. You worked there, same
I
deal.
didn't have a personal account until I left the White House.
It's not allowed. They blocked it.
A lot of
everything on
people are
my
using their
work
accounts
email.
to dial up Ashley Madison. Maybe that's why.
Why doesn't her incompetence matter? I mean, let's take the corruption component out of it. Let's say there was nothing found in there, and there were no communications that were shady, and we find, okay, well, by some miracle, there's nothing in there, even in the classified material. Although we know there was classified material, and she clearly lied. Why doesn't the fact that she's incompetent, that she made this decision, that she had this laptop lapse in judgment and that she deceived people by constantly saying there was no classified information. Why doesn't that matter? Why doesn't her dishonesty and lack of integrity on the issue matter?
Because, first of all, what is the most damning email so far released? It is a recital of a press account about the drone attacks in Afghanistan. In other words, it's an email that says, did you see the New York Times story about the secret drone attack that wiped out Abdullah? This guy in Afghanistan. That was stamped secret because it's routinely stamped secret because everything is stamped secret, and it is absolutely harmless in every regard.
What percentage of her emails have been viewed by inspectors general? Less than 1%.
How many?
So aren't you sort of interested, or you just don't care?
How many emails of other secretaries are reviewed? It just seems to me, unless you have an aspect of criminality, if there's an informer or a whistleblower who says that David Petraeus is giving secret information to his mistress, that I submit to you is problematic.
Many of them. We have to count on her word for so many. She deleted them. Then she hands in a server that's wiped clean, not with a cloth.
Do you think that she is unique in that regard?
I'm not. I think
yes,
that
she should be.
I think she's unique in the fact that she's incredibly arrogant about it, and the fact that the public seems to, many in the media seem to think, oh, it's okay if it's Hillary.
I think that they have
it's
seized
not okay.
on anything. They are missing the opportunity to condemn or to criticize what was policy failures, allowing Gaddafi to be overthrown and replaced by what? By anarchy.
But they're fruits from the same tree.
By allowing the whole
I agree with you, but only someone who is surrounded by sycophants and butt kissers. No, I'm serious. Could be capable of making a chain of horrible decisions. This is in line with exactly what she did in Libya.
And also, just remember that people within the White House who actually knew what the policy was supposed to be, they were getting these private emails, and still nobody stopped her.
Right. Can we just
that's weird.
Can we focus on the greater good here as a progressive liberal? Chris Matthews says that if Hillary Clinton drops out of the race, he will cancel his show.
Oh.
So can't we agree that that is more important for the state of our nation than this election?
Is he like Bobby
can't we
Sands?
agree that she should drop out? And then that means Chris Matthews is gone. He goes back to, I don't know.
Get in you Lululemons and get out of here.
His wife is likely
jealous
to
because
be.
I can fit into him.
His wife is likely to be a congresswoman after 2016.
So Chris is like going on a hunger strike if we don't vote the right way?
It's a talking strike, which is like for him a hunger strike.
I love that.
Yes.
He's like an IRA guy.
Yeah.
This is like the dirty protest. This is hilarious.
All right, we're going to move on because what would a show be without this? Donald Trump gearing up for the biggest rally of his campaign tonight in Alabama. Demand was so high, the event was moved from a theater to a stadium. And later, we answer your questions. It's Facebook Friday, so go to facebook.com/the5FNC and post them now. We'll be back in a moment.